and whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll
So-
bring us on Facebook.
F it.
F it, yo.
F it, dog. I know. This is a train wreck already. Okay, hang on.
What else could it be? Come on.
I don't know.
It has to be a train. I mean, train wrecks, that's why we still do it. The chance it could go horribly wrong.
I was gonna say that's why we still wreck trains for fun. It's a bunch of Gomez Adams, just like
Seriously. Here we go. Let's see. Pick a number. Oh, between 1 and 115.
You enthusiastic little beautiful fairy people. Oh, I don't want to make you count very far in.
Why? You almost have to.
That's several countings.
I know.
Let's go with 82.
Oh, now I got to count backwards?
Yeah, count from the back.
Okay.
That's
82.
how I do it.
All right, here we go. 82. All right, 82. 15, 14, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 100, 99, 98, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 90, 89, 8, 7, 6. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. You're never gonna believe it.
Oh God, what have I done?
Well, no, this is from Susan Parker. Our suggestion is this will only hurt for a second.
All right.
All right.
I know they're gonna come back in a second.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want this tattoo?
Well, I'll be honest. I do want it. I'm very scared. But I said, if I'm going to do it, I want to get a full body tattoo. I want it all over. I don't want to do something simple. I want to get it. I'm jumping in 100% feet first, right into the pool. Part of it is, honestly, I'm doing it to get back at my dad. And yeah,
Stuart.
What?
Your dad doesn't even.
What?
You know what? He said one time that you can't pull off dungarees, and you're mad for how many years?
That he said it, he meant it. He said it to my face, Terry. He said it to my face.
He did say it to your face. He did. Sorry, I fell backwards a little bit.
Well, it's okay. I mean, it's like these tables. It's one leg's broken on each of them. So
yeah, no, I didn't notice before, but the fluorescent lighting is quite harsh and also flickering quite a bit.
Yeah. Do you not want to get tattoos?
Oh, you know, I thought I did.
You don't.
I thought I did.
But you don't. You're having second thoughts on. Oh, this is a pivotal moment, Tara.
Fine. No, I'll do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Wow. You're doing it just for me.
No, you don't get to be right this time. I'm gonna do it.
What made you have second thoughts?
Mostly the pain.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting it in the place that's the most painful because it's almost right on the bone.
It's such a choice to just get a full-length spinal tattoo. It's a big it's a big choice. It's a big choice.
My dad said I didn't have a spine, and I said I do have a spine, and he said prove it, and I'm proving it, Tara. I'm proving it right now.
It would almost be cheaper though to like just steal an imaging machine
Mm,
and then take an x-ray and then show it to your dad. Also, the fact that you walk bipedally and upright. I mean, that's
right.
evidence of the spine.
I mean, that's like that's like there's no better evidence than that.
There really isn't. And if you think about it, Stuart,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, if
Yeah.
you go and then you injure that part of your back, how are you going to show your dad? How are you going to show him that it's there? Like he'll be like, no, I don't trust you. You look injured.
You're right. He's like, you're just doing this for attention.
Well, I thought we were already doing this for attention.
No, we are. He'll say it again. He'll say, you're getting injured for attention. It's like, yeah, that's all I want from you, Dad, is attention.
I feel like you're actually a really good person, and you're a really good son when you really look at it, Stuart, because another person, another child might have said, my dad is not paying attention to me. I'm gonna go burn down a Walmart, or I'm gonna go steal lots of diamonds. But not you, Stuart. Not you.
God, that would be so cool, though. A diamond heist?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say burning down a Walmart, because I think that would be really cool.
I did once.
You did?
On Route 9?
That was you?
Yeah. Yes. Don't make me laugh. Yeah, that was me.
Why didn't you tell your dad?
A, he's a police officer, so I think he'd have to arrest me. B, he doesn't listen to me anyway. And C, you know what he would have said?
What would you have said?
Yeah, you're right. He would have mumbled first and stuttered, because when he gets embarrassed, he doesn't know what to say. So he's like, buh, flurg. Then he would have said, I don't believe it.
Like he wants proof.
He wants proof. And then I'm
Well,
like,
wait, he's the policeman. He's the police. He's not even just a policeman. He's a police detective.
yeah.
Isn't his job finding clues?
Yeah, it is. And he's not good at it.
You think he could find clues to the unlocking his cold, dead heart to the love of his son?
Yes. That's all I want, Tara. That's all I want. I
Look,
feel
Stuart.
what?
No, how do you feel?
I feel honestly, I feel lucky to have you as a friend. I feel really lucky about that. I don't care about this town. I mean, I can't wait to get out of here.
This town blows.
Yeah. When I get out of high school, I'm as soon as I turn 18, I'm gone. I'm gone. There.
Where are you gonna go?
New York, Manhattan.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
That's where that's where the Muppet movie took place, where they stole all the diamonds.
Yeah. Muppets Take Manhattan.
Yeah. Are you gonna go there and steal all the diamonds?
I'm gonna do a diamond heist in Manhattan. I just want some adventure. And I want I want my dad to notice that I'm gone. I want him to care, right?
Yeah. Have you ever just told him, like, hey, Dad, I wish you would pay attention to me because I don't feel your love?
Like, said those words.
Yeah, just like straight up said him. Just got right to the point.
I think I'm too afraid to say it.
So you're too afraid to say it, but you're not afraid to get this big, quite honestly, ugly tattoo. I'm sorry. I know I told you it looked cool, but Sonic turned into a dragon breathing fire
Yes.
on a McDonald's is honestly not the height of art. But you're not afraid to do that. And you're not afraid to leave this town. And you're not afraid to go to Manhattan and recreate the Muppets Take Manhattan. But you're afraid of your dad.
I'm afraid of telling him how I feel and being rejected and being invalidated for saying that's how I feel. Do you know what happened once?
What?
I was 9 years old. I was playing baseball over at Arquilla. You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, it's Dusty.
Yeah, there might actually be asbestos particles in the air.
I think there are. I'm not
Yeah.
I think there are. I mean, there's paint peeling everywhere. And was at Arquilla, and my dad showed up, and it was so hot. It was like, I'm not kidding. It was like 100 degrees, and I was, I wanted him so much to say that he was proud of me. And after the game, I said, "What do you think, Dad?" You know what he said to me?
What did he say?
He said, "Why is your face so red?" It was like, "Because it's hot out." And that was it. That's all he said. So, and then I said to him, "Dad, are you proud of me? Are you proud of me, Dad?" And he never answered.
Stuart,
Yeah.
I think your dad might be afraid of you. And I don't mean it like you're scary, because you're
Well,
not. This place is scarier. Ooh, cockroach. Um, Other cockroach. Um, Line of cockroaches. Wow. Okay.
I think when there's one, there's a bunch.
There were so many. I'm just not gonna look. Think about it though. Your dad's a human being. Your dad's a human being, right? And you're afraid, right? You're afraid to tell him how you feel. Just because your dad's an adult and your dad had a kid and your dad is a cop and your dad is your dad doesn't mean that he's still not a human being. And maybe, you know, maybe he's afraid to tell you how he feels.
Yeah.
And that's unfair, but you'll never know unless, you're so brave. You're so brave. What if you just tried?
Yeah, he never knew his dad.
See?
So he never knew he's doing this himself for the first time. He didn't have anybody he could talk to.
He didn't have a role model. And then you're his only son. You're his only kid ever. And your mom's not around anymore. So, like, God, he's probably walking on eggshells. It's not an excuse. It's really not.
Yeah,
But, like,
no, you're right. You're right. And I was so young. Maybe he did say something. I just wasn't. Maybe I didn't pay attention. Maybe I was. Oh,
What
oh,
do what do any of us really know? Like what is anybody Stu,
yeah,
it's gonna be okay. You can back out of this. We can back out of this right now. We can back out of this right now, right? And I we can go to Waffle House and we can get some food.
smothered fries, smothered hash
Yeah,
browns.
duh. And then you can go home.
Yeah.
And if you want me to stay, I'll stay.
Yep, I do.
And I'll be right there. I can be in the room or I can go
Yeah.
wait in a different room. And it's probably gonna hurt a lot less than this full back spinal tattoo.
Yeah, I'd rather do that. And to be honest, Tara, I don't even know if anybody's coming. We've been here for a long time.
Yeah, I did hear the bell jingle, but I thought that somebody
Yeah.
else came in.
They probably left.
And I think the guy just left.
Wanna go Waffle House?
Yeah, well, let's get some cash out of the reg first.
Yeah. Seed. Let's get some cash out of the rich.
We're still gonna knock somebody over, darn it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, how you been, friend?
I'm surviving. How have you been?
Surviving moment to moment,
At the moment.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, that's all we can do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the one thing I keep saying about the one thing that's like a bright light is that, oh, you and I and we have a chance to do this, whereas we would have to have planned a trip or gotten a theater to do it. And now it's like, can you do it on this day? Yep. All right, sounds good. So I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I really like it. I still really like it. And I still want to do stuff online, like
Yeah.
going forward. It
Yes.
has opened up a lot for me just in terms of who I can play with now.
Yes.
And like wow. Like wow. And also just like accessibility wise, I don't always have I live with depression and anxiety, and sometimes I don't have the mental bandwidth to like get ready, drive over to the theater,
Right.
park the car, come in, pretend that I like talking to everybody that I run into. And
Yes.
then by the time I get backstage, I'm like, wow, I am already out of energy to even want to do this because I used it all like social masking. So,
Oh
like,
my God. Yes.
yeah. So if I don't have to do that, or I can just do it with one person who I'm developing a friendship with, like, over time, it's been easier to like talk to you, for example. So,
Right.
like, that's something that I really like, where it's like we can hang out when it's convenient for us. We
Yes.
can work together when it's convenient and it works. And it doesn't have to turn into this big thing where it's like, if we don't make this one thing work this one time, it's never going to happen. And there's so many consequences. It's like,
I
no.
mean, and it's so true that exhaustion of, that feeling when you're about to get out of your car to go in the theater and it's like that
Yeah.
deep breath and you're like, here we go. And then you're before the show even starts, you're like, I am zonked. I'm ready to take a nap. Like, I'm not excited because I've spent all this energy covering up for my feeling of being anxious or depressed or just nervous or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, more than we think, like for my own experience, a lot of socializing is a performance.
Yeah.
Like it just is. And so it's it takes a lot. Like I've slowly over time, I think, built up more of a tolerance to how much energy
Mm.
I like I can use
Yeah.
and store. But still at the same time, if it's a bunch of people that I don't know or I don't see very often, I'm just like every person in the back of your head, you're like, make a good impression, say the right thing, be really nice, make sure you give a really good hug, do the thing. And
Yeah.
some people I'll tell this to and they're like, what? But you're like, yeah, I get it. And I'm like,
Totally.
cool.
I mean, aren't you in your life playing different characters
All the time.
all the time? And then you go in situations and even ones where you're like, oh, this is a team I've been with for a while. You still have those moments. And then if it's like, oh, there's a new person there or someone there that you respect or someone you don't really know, like there are all those moments. And I think we forget because we're in this situation where it's this based on ensemble and we're all in it together, which is great. You forget most of the people that did their first improv class, they're there because of they want to overcome social anxiety or they feel awkward or they don't feel a part of something. It's like that. I mean, there are times where it dissipates a little bit, but it's still there and it's still a part of who we are and part of our human DNA.
Big time. Big time. And I feel like the less importance or the less pressure you put on yourself to adhere to these things that make you so uncomfortable, like the more that you can really access yourself, your own authenticity,
Oh,
and do the things that you like to do.
yeah, with the people you want to do it with.
Yes. And I know it's weird. Like a lot of the people that I prefer to play with do live pretty far from me. And that kind of sucks. But also, I never would have met them if we didn't start doing stuff online. And I never would have found that it works so well with, some of these different people. Some people who live in just completely different countries from
Yeah,
me. And
yeah,
I'm like, I never would have met you. We never would have had this.
yes,
And also, my improv skills would not have grown in the same way. Because
totally.
I consider everything that I'm able to do like a reflection of everything that I've already done with everybody else.
Yes. And
So
you,
yeah.
no, what are you going to say?
I was gonna say I try to keep that. Like I try to hold on to that in every new situation. I'm like, I'm bringing these gifts with me into the next situation.
Yeah.
I feel really lucky.
I mean, I feel like when you first start taking improv, it's like when you go to school and you become friends with people based on proximity and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they live near me." And then sometimes you're like, "This is the best of the best. This is the best it's going to get." And then you go away somewhere, you move or you go to college out of town and you're like, "Oh my gosh, there's more people." And then you start making choices of who you're friends with and that's what's happened with Zoom and with virtual improv is like, oh, I mean, we knew this, but there's an entire world of people. And now I can connect with them. Whereas before, in a lot of like, especially smaller improv communities, there is that element of, I got no other choice. It's this or nothing. And I don't like this. So people started getting out of it. Whereas now I'm like, it's so exciting to see you can connect with people anywhere in the world and create these cool bonds over virtual.
Yeah, and I mean it says a lot. It says a lot to like validate the concept of internet friends too, right? Because
Yeah.
we're getting into a more increasingly connected culture, and people who are younger than me and you, like my own child is probably going to have a decent proportion of friends
Yep.
who live in other places who they mainly connect with online.
Yep.
And I think to limit yourself by saying nothing is real unless it's in person is very narrow. It's a very myopic way to look at connection, and to open yourself to connection. I'm somebody that like I was somebody that always really liked pen pals. I was somebody that always really like, yeah, I was always somebody that was always like, oh, it'd be so cool to have all these different connections everywhere. And then other people I think get kind of freaked out by that, possibly, where it's kind of like, that's a lot, that's too much, that's too scary.
Well, it's you in the same way that you're friends by proximity, you become comfortable with that, and you're like, well, this is, and sometimes it's echoed. This is all you got.
It's an echo chamber.
It's an echo chamber, and you're like, okay, I guess this is it. I grew up with guys who never left a 6-block radius.
Yeah.
And you're like, they've never gone, and this is within 30 miles of Chicago. They've never gone into the city. They're like, I have no reason to. And it's like, are you kidding me? So they've never left that, including where they work, has been 6 blocks.
Here's the thing. If we're gonna study an art form and perform and practice it, you can't limit yourself by saying, like, this is the only group of people I have at my disposal.
Right.
These are the only people that I'm ever going to do this with, and I'm going to get good. That's not going to happen. Like, it's just not. Like, if you stay in the same spot forever, you're never going to be pushed to grow.
Right.
And if you're working in an art form, generally you're probably going to be the type of person that wants to be pushed to grow.
Yes.
It baffles my mind when people when they're so dismissive of the concept of online improv, or even just making connections with people online with improv.
Right. You're an improviser, and you are saying this is not you don't want to take this opportunity to meet people from the world?
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
Yeah, it's like, opposite to improv. It's right. It's like you have an opportunity to expand who you play with, the style, the people, and you're like, I'm gonna wait for this to get back to the way it was. It's like,
yeah,
fuck.
And like, I don't want to be. Am I allowed to curse?
Fuck yeah.
I don't want to be shitty, but like, if you're one of those people like can't wait for stuff to go back to the way it was, where like all of the improv theaters were basically forts, where like everyone defended their, like, and I don't think you even realize it to a certain extent, that you're defending your fort, that you're only going into this one place and playing. And there was this culture of like, well, if you go somewhere else, you're kind of a traitor and you're kind of not working with us anymore. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that standard. I don't understand that thought process. I think it's so amazing and magical and beautiful that like so many people have linked up over the last year plus, and now it's like there's just like this interconnected woven tapestry of people, and so many ideas are being shared, and so many expertise and so many perspectives, and it's just like, this is what I was looking for when I came to improv in the first place.
Well, that's what you were promised day one.
Yeah.
And then as you went through different programs, it's like, what do you mean it's not like that? But that's why you said I could play with anybody and do anything and trust myself. And now it's like, I have to declare, it's like Harry Potter.
You have to declare fealty to the king.
Yes. And like, what do you, and then you have people who are like, well, I'm a Second City person. I'm an IO person. I'm a, whatever it is. It's like, no, you're an improviser. And way back in the day, there was a guy named Paul Sills who said, whoever shows up plays. Bottom line, that's it. Like, there were no camps and what happened is, I think theater started preying on fears and insecurities and saying like, this is the way to make you successful, famous, funny, whatever it is. And it got away from, No, the whole reason I'm doing this is because I want to experience, how do you play? How can we connect? Not I'm going to let go of who I am, but how can I bring myself and meet you halfway and create this thing together, regardless of where you trained or who you know or what theater you're a part of. And in the smaller communities, I think it became territorial because of survival of like, they looked at it as there's only a certain amount of people we can make money off of. And if you're
Yep.
taking that, and it's like, no, there's room for everyone. And if you do fun, good work, people are going to, there's a plentifulness to this. If that's how you're choosing to look at it, is like, there's only a certain amount of people. And like, I worked for a theater once and the guy said, you got to blow out your candle or other people's candle to make yours burn brighter. And I was like, no, you don't. I'm like, you absolutely do not have to blow out somebody else's candle. But that was a philosophy going around for a long time. And then you're like, this has been a reset. This whole global virtual improv has been a reset of like, it doesn't have to be that way. And now, instead of being alone on a hill going, does anybody agree with this style of play? You find them and they're like, no, I'm here. We just aren't living in the same city. And you're like, oh, you're reminded there are people who play that way. There are people who are looking to do that. There are people who value you. There are people that are like, I can't wait to play with you. And now all we have to do is turn on our computers, hop on the phone, whatever it is, and we can do it. And it's so much easier now. And so I'm with you. I'm only going to be pretty much virtual, even when things subside, because of the reach and being able to play with different people and work with different people.
And I think it's also, we gotta not have to, but like sticking to your guns and sticking to your principles a bit too, that this is a viable way forward.
Yes.
And when people commodify improv, when they treat it like a product,
yes,
people start to treat it like a product. Like capitalism, I'm going to get up on my high horse. Capitalism is so ingrained and
immoral. It's
immoral, and you have this like weird brand loyalty built
Yes.
into your behaviors.
Yes.
Yeah. And so like improv theaters know that they can kind of rely on that. And I'm sorry, that's kind of why we get labeled as a cult, I think, because
Totally.
it's almost become sect-like.
Yes.
With the theaters, and these people are beholden to the sect of their theater, and it's like, this is why people think that we're weird. This is why we're the butt of the comedy world joke. Like, I swear to God, Jay, I can't watch anything anymore without someone making some dig at improv that I was not expecting.
And it's worse when improvisers dig themselves.
Yeah.
Like, motherfucker, you're part of this. I hate when improvisers do that. It's like, we're supposed to come together and we're supposed to say why this is good for us as humans. And now you're part of that dig. I'm with you. I hate it.
There's a real chance, I think, here to really uplift the art form again, over and over. And you have that chance every day, every moment to do that over and over and over again. And I think you just have to kind of make that choice to like want to do more and to want to push yourself and to do something that you might think is kind of scary.
Of course.
Yeah, online improv is kind of scary. It kind of like, maybe it looks like generic chocolate chip cookies to you. I don't know. But I will tell you, there's benefits. There are ways moving forward where I think even when theaters open up, that there are benefits to doing it online, because you can work on certain skills.
Yes.
You can work on listening. You can work on focus. You can work on expression. Yeah. It doesn't, sometimes when we think about doing all of those things at the same time, it becomes overwhelming and it can lock you up in your brain.
100%.
Yeah. But I've noticed over like the last year, like I started working with you really early on in the pandemic with Babysitters Club. And I think that was one of the jumping off points where I realized like, this is going to sound really weird. I'm good enough to do this with whoever I want to do this with.
Yeah. You have the skills to hang with anyone.
Yeah.
And you were in a situation, maybe, I don't know, but maybe a situation where you weren't hearing that, or you didn't think it was true, or it was like, well, you have to be X amount of years into it before you can be on this team or that stage. And then it's like, no, 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 this has leveled it. Go find, you are good. You have the skills to hang. Now it's time to bloom. Now it's time to go and challenge yourself in those spaces where you can fail in a safe way. And then you're like, oh, there is no failing. And I can hang with person X, Y, and Z just because they're part of this theater or they've been doing this long doesn't mean that they're any better than I am.
You're darn right, because I've seen some train wrecks.
Right?
I really have. Where I'm just like, this is supposed to,
Yeah.
and I mean, it is all really subjective, right? But like,
Totally.
there's times where I'm like, I have seen brilliant, mind-blowing, amazing improv in places where I think other people would go, there's not going to be anything for me there.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm sorry, you're missing out.
And then you go, I'm going to look on the Twitch channel for Theater X. That's a very good improv theater. And you're like, what is this? This is not. I mean, I remember people said to me they had gone to the Del Close Marathon a few years ago, and they're like, we're going to go see shows at UCB. And then they went and they're like, huh, not because it's necessarily the shows weren't good or anything, but because they realized it's built up in their head to be bigger than what it is. And you go, oh my goodness, the theater doesn't determine you. The people you do with doesn't determine you. It's watching you play. And most of the time it's like, are they having fun and taking risks? Then I'm all for it. And this is opened up to see there are so many new hotspots popping up that if this hadn't have happened, it would have taken a lot longer for us to recognize those places.
Absolutely.
If at all. If at all.
And I think it empowers artists to be individuals. I think before we were really guided into this corral of like, you're not an individual, you're part of this.
Right.
That is a little cult-like. That's a little cult-like. I really enjoy researching like cults and true crime and just stuff like that.
Yes.
So like
Jonestown. Oh my God. What led up to Jonestown is like, that's pretty similar.
That escalated quickly. It's like when you look at the levels of like an improv track, right? Like it goes in levels. So does Scientology. And you have to pay for each one, and you're promised certain things by the end of each one.
You don't graduate, you keep going.
Yep. And I noticed that like people would just be getting through just because it was the money, not the skills. And I'm like, well, if we were able to more individualize our own explorations, and we would be more empowered to go after the things that we really love and to become better improvisers.
But that wasn't the end goal of this. The end goal was, like you got in board, you started taking classes, and then you're like, oh, I guess the end goal is the team, a house team.
Yeah.
So then it was like, then you watch these house teams and you're like, they're all pretty similar. That was always my beef, is like, they're all kind of these 3-minute scenes, a lot of the same, like you couldn't tell any teams apart because they all did kind of the same work, because that's what you were training to do as you got closer. Instead of, no, we want to develop you and give you a platform to figure out who you are as an artist and find other people that you want to create stuff with that still bring out your individuality, not we're dropping that part. Because to me, the most interesting part is, what are you as an individual, an artist, bringing to this group collective, and how do we make it all work together? How do we play the same song with different instruments?
And how do we honor our players as individuals? Like I feel like it goes a long way towards breaking this cycle of institutionalized racism in improv, of people getting boxed out, of feeling like they can't even participate because they're not going to be respected and valued. And so when you put the value on the individual, there's a lot more there, I think, to be able to appreciate and to learn. Like I look at somebody like Stephanie Rae, or somebody like John Nguyen, or some, just like people who I never would have met before, who also I feel might not have been super as respected as I respect them
For sure.
in my old theater.
For sure. 100%. Because
and I think that's a tragedy.
Well, you look at like Stephanie Rae, you look like Michelle Gilliam, John Nguyen, like Stephanie and Michelle have been doing improv for a long time.
So long.
And you're like, why are they not at the top as far as being recognized? Whereas these other people where you're like, all right, just because you have longevity, dude, doesn't mean, but for some reason it means, and I'll never forget, there was a producer at Second City and she was wonderful. Her name was Joyce Sloan, and Eddie Murphy spent a summer on the main stage in Chicago at Second City before SNL to learn how to be part of an ensemble. And people were up in arms about that. And her quote was, "Honey, this ain't the post office." And I love that, where it's like, there's no seniority. There's no like, because, and for years it was that way, where it's like, well, you put your time in and you're entitled to this, versus like, no, let's highlight these individuals because they add something to the community, to the ecosystem of improv.
Well, also it's like that system of like, you need to put in your time, you need to do this, is all just a way to weed people out who aren't going to get to the main stage if they stick to that principle.
Yeah.
It's there to keep people out.
Yes.
And one mediocre white guy wearing a polo shirt makes a dick joke.
Yes.
And suddenly he's a headliner. And you're like, what the fudge, dude?
But it's true. It's true. It's very exclusionary. And then you're like, all the people on your stage look like the people making your decisions. And then you go, people who don't look like that might come in once and then go, this obviously isn't for me because I don't see representation. It's interesting, but I'm not going to come back. It's not my thing. And then all of a sudden, fast forward 30 years, and you're like, why is there this problem? It's like, well, because it's been institutionalized to where this is the regular. And now, because those theaters haven't changed and evolved, pandemic as well. But before that, the end was coming, and we saw it for a lot of theaters before, and then COVID just sped it up. So now it's like starting over and making it different and building it up and embracing this for what it is, which is, wow, we've shrunk the world now, and we're able to connect with people, give people opportunities that haven't had those opportunities before. We can now see and search those people out.
Yeah. And also, like, I've said this so many times, I think over the pandemic too, where it's like, you can plan to go to a festival, or you can plan to go and visit a theater, and maybe they're doing like a workshop weekend or something, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go, all this money, all this time, and now and then I'm gonna try to make friends too. It's like, we already have friends now. We have friends. I have friends in India and China and Thailand and England and all over the place. And I can just go to, like, I don't know, Edinburgh Fringe if I wanted to, and I would have friends to hang out with.
It's different. You're going to meet your friends rather than I'm going and hoping to meet friends.
Yes.
Where can people find you? Because I mean, you're an amazing teacher, not just performer, but you teach and a coach. And what's the best way if people want to follow what you're doing or reach out to you? How can they find you?
They can find me at my page on Facebook, which is Brenna Judkins Improviser. You can also find me on Instagram at Bernanda Jenkins, which is not how that's an inside joke because no one ever gets my name right. So I just spelled it incorrectly and got in there ahead of them. And also I work with Queen City Comedy. You can go to Queen City Comedy, there is another Everybody Get In Here festival coming in June. Get excited. Um, and also, I recently have joined up with Zmack out of Shanghai and Thailand. Yes. And I am currently going to be leading their puppet improv masterclass track that's coming up on the 18th. There is still space in that if people want to reach out to them and sign up. And also it's Mac Virtual, which is an all virtual, basically online set of shows, all virtual teams. And it's it's gonna be amazing. I'm so excited.
Well, it is so awesome. You're so awesome and just like uber talented. And it's really amazing that now people can see it and people go, yeah. And it's like the fact that you're spreading your knowledge and your love of this all throughout the world is just, it's rippling out to so many people. And whether it's in person, virtual, whatever it is, my friend, I cannot wait to play again. You're the best. Thank you for taking time out of your day.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for being so flexible with all of my reschedules too.
It's all good. Bye, Brenna.
Bye.